have been friends and Toastmasters. Jane, I think we go back way more than 10 years. It feels like a long time. And I'm thankful for our friendship every day. So today is my pleasure and your pleasure too, hopefully, that you'll be listening to Jane's presentation. So a little bit about Jane before she speaks today. As you are probably feeling, many of us have seen this COVID pandemic as a time of maybe anxiety, but Jane is saying, this has really been a time of rest for many people. As adults, we sometimes need to rest, take a step back, and take the time it takes to just be for a moment. For children, she says it's hard to just rest when they need to play with their friends and go places, run off their energy. She says, my heart goes out to the children and teenagers whom have had to endure this pandemic. And now, especially with school starting too, and all the different things that they need to do that are different than other years. Jane has remained devoted to the children in her ministry and their families in the Rolling Meadows ministry in the neighborhood. This speech today stems from her passion to see all of the families do well. Jane loves to ask questions, investigate, do research. She's just a naturally curious person. Today, she'll inform you about the ways you can encourage children at this crucial time in history. Today, her presentation is called Our Future, Our Children. Please help me in welcoming Jane Michelkamp.
The year of 2020 has been a very sad and a challenging year for me. First of all, my mother passed away from a massive stroke in February. And then shortly after that, we had the pandemic with the COVID-19. And then yet the looting all around the world and the rioting was all around the world too. So there's been a lot that's happened in 2020. But since then, I really believe that America has gone a long way and that we are growing and that we are going to be stronger than ever through this pandemic. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most honored and welcome guests, Sheila and Stan. The pandemic has gone on for over 8 months right now, and most of us as adults, we can learn to adapt to the pandemic with the social distancing and the wearing of the mask. However, for children, it is hard for them to adapt to what's going on because they don't understand really what's going on. As adults, we can understand what's going on in the pandemic. But children, it's harder for them. Children cannot be involved in the sports that they used to be involved in, activities with their friends, playing outside, going to school. They are only going to school 2 days a week now. They're unable to go full time. In fact, since the COVID-19 pandemic began, school closures has disrupted the education 1.5 billion children and youth globally. Remote learning, well, that's taken a toll on a lot of the parents. I've talked with a few of the parents, and one of them is an African family, and they have 5 children from the ages 4 to 13 years old. The husband was working at home at the time, and he had told me that it is just incredibly hard and stressful to try and help their children with their schoolwork, to get their homework done. They weren't getting their homework done. And the teacher had called and said, well, why aren't they getting their homework done? And he just replied, I'm working at home. I'm not a teacher. So it's been very hard for parents and the stress of having to try and teach their children anything when think of algebra. How many of you would remember algebra? I know when I had to take it at North Central, it was like a nightmare. Oh no, I didn't remember it or anything, but I think the parents are doing a little bit better now. Children, they need to feel safe and they need to feel secure and they need to feel positive about their present future. Adults can help the children by focusing the children's attention in order for them to be able to reach out to them physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And today in my speech, I am going to be talking about the three aspects of teaching your children. The first one is physically, the second one is emotionally, and the third one is going to be spiritually. Taking care of yourself physically. Children, I see, are not getting the exercise that they need to get. There are a lot of parents that are not even allowing their kids to go outside. While on the other hand, I have been walking and I was so delightfully happy to see some of the parents walking with their children and some of them riding the bike with their children. Children also need to eat well. Because of the pandemic, they're not getting the free breakfasts and lunches that they were getting every day. This summer, some of the parents had told me that the school was coming with a bus and they were bringing boxes of nutritional food for the children twice a week. And one of the parents told me how nutritional it was. There were vegetables, there were fruit, turkey roll-up, chicken, and the parents were so thankful to be able to have food because can you imagine children, it seems like they have no end to their stomach and they want to eat and eat and eat. But I was very happy to hear about schools helping them. Sleep is another part of taking your care of yourself physically. Now, children are not getting to bed on time. In fact, two of my helpers, Naomi and Florence, I asked them a question. So what time do you get to bed? Because sometimes I'll call them at 1 in the afternoon and they're just getting up out of bed. And she told me, we go to bed about 4 in the morning. I said, 4 in the morning? Whoa, what do? Don't your parents know? Well, not really, because when we go to bed, we go in our bed and they think we're sleeping. And then we take out that phone and we start chatting or texting. And then pretty soon it's 4 in the morning. Wouldn't it be nice if the parents would get the children up in the morning and they could make breakfast together? That's such a great time to bond and for the children to learn how to cook. When I was growing up, I helped my mom and my grandmother cooking. So I know how to cook and I know how to bake very well. Now I would like to talk to you about how children can handle their emotions. Their emotions are rapidly changing. Children are feeling sad, confused, unsettled, uncertain, and worried about this pandemic. So what I have with me, everybody can see this, we can coach our children on how to manage their emotions and to see where God is in it by using the 6-stage circle. Now I found this 6-stage circle on a website called faithandparents.org. And you'll be able to find that if you would like to. So I'm going to talk about the 6 stages and how we can reach out to our children. And even if you don't have children, your grandchildren. So create a window. Ask them questions. How are you coping with the COVID-19? How are your emotions? What are you feeling? And then tell them how you're feeling. So when the children tell me how they're feeling. If they're feeling sad, if they're feeling scared, I tell them, well, these are some things that I've been doing. I like to take walks. Walks help me to get the stress out and the worry, and then I like to pray. I love to journal what I'm feeling, and I love to bike ride. And most of all, I want to show you a picture. His name is George, and he is almost a 20-pound cat. And I love to go see George because he really helps me through this time. I think pets can be one of the most greatest healing in life. So next, we have frame. So frame, you are going to help them to understand and explain the emotions, help them to understand what their emotions are and what they're feeling. If they feel sad, if they feel scared, tell them, well, I've experienced that. I felt sad before. And what do you feel like? What's inside of you? How do you feel? What can we do? Next is equip them. Equip them to walk well through their fear and their uncertainty. Help them to develop strategies to cope with whatever emotion that they're feeling. If they're feeling scared, anxious, afraid. When you feel like that, you could ask them, what could we try to do? When you're feeling scared, when you're feeling afraid, what are some things that we could try to do? And ask them that question. Next is create opportunities. So create opportunities, which may mean identifying when they are experiencing a particular emotion that they're going through, and stopping them and giving them a chance to try out something. Try out something. What could we do that would help you through your sadness, that would help you through your anxiety, your uncertainty, your worry? A lot of children like to draw, and I think drawing it out is helping that person with their emotion. Maybe singing it out, maybe coloring. Next is equip, I'm sorry, I think I did, yep, is boundaries. So the boundaries. For example, we are going to face these situations, and we are going to face them with God. God is going to give us that peace, and God is the one that is in control of our lives. A little boy, his name is Kamzi, and when I went to his house to drop off some packages, I had dropped off some packages. So every 4 months, I call the families and I see how they're doing. And then I take care packages that I make, and I take gift cards to the families because a lot of them are struggling financially. So I will take a holiday gas cards and Cub food cards and Walmart cards for them to be able to buy groceries, or if they need any clothing or anything. So when I get to Kamzi and Cozy, which are African little boys that are so cute and they look alike, and Kamzi from a social distancing, so now I'm doing the social distancing, so I drive up, I put it in their door, and then I stand back and I give them a virtual hug. And Kamzi said to me, he said, Pastor Jane, you know what, I'm learning a song. Trust God, trust God, trust God. So I think letting them know that in this time of uncertainty, we can trust God. Feedback is the next one. Reflect on what changes you are seeing. Remark on the difference that it makes and how much confidence they seem to have. So give them feedback and say, you know, I see this, Kamzi. I'm so glad that you are trusting God. I'm so glad that you are handling this pandemic so well and not being able to go to school only 2 days a week. So I have given you the 6 stages, the circle of helping children through their emotions. This will help to impact their emotions and help to guide you as an adult. These are just a few of the aspects that I have on handling children. And lastly, I want to talk about their spiritual life. Spiritual life, I think, is very important for children, for all of us. But COVID-19 is causing all of us to spend more time at home. And in nature, we are busybodies where we want to go here, do this and that. Adults can handle that a little bit better, but it is harder for children. But I believe scheduling spiritual time with the children is going to help to build their spirit, to help to build them, not only spiritually, but physically and emotionally in their lives. Some of the examples I would like to give parents is to help their children, maybe read some spiritual books with them, read the Bible stories with them, pray, sing songs, sing scripture songs. The COVID-19 pandemic is an opportunity rather than a challenge, I believe. I see a lot of families that are sitting now at the table, eating meals at the table with their families, where before they would just sit in the living room or eat here and eat there, but now they're actually having quality family time with their families, eating at the supper table. They're praying together. Parents have told me they're doing devotions with their children together. Feeding the spirit is going to be one of the most important parts of a child's life. It has said that by the time they're 12 years old is when you need to get them spiritually in following God, or else you've lost them. Consider the ways that you use your time alone too. We do have a lot of alone time right now. Focus on the spiritual disciplines in your lives, such as prayer and meditation, meditating on scripture verses that are going to help you out throughout the day. I like to take little 3x5 cards, and when I walk, I like to memorize those scripture verses. And then I have them in my heart, and when I'm going through something that is really hard, like when my mother died, God gave me so many great nuggets of His Word to stand upon and to encourage me. I believe strongly that children are our future, and the Lord has really blessed us to be able to have children, and some of you as grandparents to have grandchildren. I hope that these 3 aspects of helping physically, emotionally, and spiritually will help you and encourage you as an adult through this pandemic. Many of these adversities can cause us, I really believe, to become a brighter light in this world today that can reach out to the hurting and to the lost. Madam Toastmaster.